Hello, I'm Christian Mungiu, the director of R.M.N, playing in the Ghent Film Festival. And for me, it's a story about the state of the world of today and about human nature, us as people. It's an investigation trying to figure out why are we so violent creatures, and to investigate about this dual nature that we're having. In part, we are empathic and kind and human and tolerant, but on the other side, we have this tendency of also having a lot of instincts and a very strong animal inside of us, and there's always a clash. I always start from something real, trying to understand what it speaks about. The real incident was covered a lot by the press. It was happening at the beginning of 2020. Right before the pandemics, and it was indeed happening in this small village in Transylvania. I did a very special kind of screening in Romania, in the sense that we have very few theaters left, so every time when I'm ready with the film, I have to organize a caravan and tour the country and screen the film town by town. And eventually for this one, I started precisely in that village where it started and precisely in that town hall. So I asked people at the beginning of the screenplay, so who is now a spectator and was here when that happened? And some people were like, yeah, we have to admit we were here. And that was a very good conversation. And it was difficult for the spectators at the beginning to watch the film. They were like very tensed. All the cameras were on them. How the press is, they expected some sort of a fight or whatever, but it's not like this. Finally, they learned what fiction does, what fiction do, and in the sense that it was kind of a healing process for them. They had the distance all of a sudden to relate differently to that situation, and they were very happy that I wasn't judgmental, not even in a situation like theirs. I was not there to judge what was happening, and it was not about them. I speak about people in general, and they were happy that all of a sudden they could have somebody listening to their arguments as well.
Yes.
No, best is that way.
I don't know. From home, all is best.
My films are based on reality and inspired by reality and not by cinema. And as you can see, there's no editing in reality. We have to live every little unglorious moments of our lives. When I was younger, I used to watch a lot the Italian neorealism. I was also watching in the 80s this series that Kieslowski held, a television called Decalogue. And in general, this kind of cinema which is a lot inspired by what happens to ordinary people next to you. There's something that I kept from my period as a journalist, is a certain kind of clarity and of structure in the story. I always know who is the main character and why he does something at a certain moment. And I base a lot my stories on this kind of structure, and I continue reading a lot of press and trying to understand what it speaks about. And finally, it's very important to think about your means as a filmmaker and about the ethics of these means, because cinema can be very manipulative, and we all try to get to the truth if possible.